What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video, I am going to be covering one of the biggest shifts of perspectives that I had as I was running my businesses. This is something I learned from investing a lot into myself, a lot into my business, and learning from coaches and different mentors and different programs that I've been a part of throughout my career. This is the rule of 5 ones that I want to share with you that's going to really help you, start, grow, and scale your business. So let's dive right into it. This is the powerful shift of perspective that changed the way I think about starting and scaling a business. So what is the rule of 5 ones? Well, let's dive right into it. Well, the first one is having one target market or niche, right? Picking one. Instead of being a generalist, becoming a specialist of one niche and one target market. Now, the next one is having one lead generation strategy. Whether you pick cold email, cold calls, LinkedIn, Facebook, IG, really does not matter. Picking one is the way to scale. The next one is having one conversion mechanism, right? Doesn't matter whether you use webinars, if you're doing a one-on-one call, right? Having one conversion mechanism that is working for you is the way to start scaling your business, because now you're building a system around this process. Now, having one program, having one core program, or what I call an intellectual property that no one else can copy because it's yours, right? Unless somebody stole your program, right, and sold it again, right? There's no other way that someone can literally obtain the information that you have in your program, right? And now doing this for one entire year, right? Selling to that one target market, using that one lead generation strategy with that one conversion mechanism, selling them one core product for 1 year is what I have found to be the best way. Start, systemize, and scale your business, because without this focus, right, you're not going to have a repeatable process. You're not going to be able to build systems. You're not going to have a scalable business that you can remove yourself from. And so what you're going to end up with is a lot of complexity, headache, and things that we want to avoid at all costs. So let's briefly break these down. The first one is having one target market and niche. So when it comes to, starting and scaling a business, having a target market or a very specific niche is what this one rule stands for. The second one is a lead generation strategy. So having one lead generation strategy is what this rule is about. Now, the next is having one conversion mechanism. So far we have one target market, one lead generation strategy, and one conversion mechanism, which we're going to talk about what that is here in a second. Having just one program for 1 year. So this is the rule of 5 ones, having one target market, one lead generation strategy, one conversion mechanism, with one program for 1 entire year. So this is the rule of 5 ones. I'm going to dive into how all of this kind of plays a role into your business right now. So let's briefly break these down. So the first one is a target market and niche. So when I first started out my business, after learning the skill set that I chose to study, which in my case was lead generation, I honestly believed I could work with literally anybody. Let me explain. So when I graduated from, I invested a lot of money into myself, into different courses and mentorships and things like that. And I learned how to do lead generation in a multitude of different ways with a whole bunch of different avenues. And because of that, I learned all the different skill sets that apply to lead generation, like copywriting and all those things, right? Sales, prospecting. And because I learned all of these skill sets, I literally felt like I could work with literally anybody out there. And so initially what I started doing was I started going to Chamber of Commerce events and started going to networking events where I literally, would meet with a ton of different businesses and a ton of different type of clients and just pick the ones that I truly wanted to work with. And that's how I started my business. So, looking back at it, I had 12 to 15 different clients in different industries. And what I didn't realize back then is, I was making internet money for the first time and making a good amount of it. But the second thing is that, my hours that I would spend every single day towards my business were, increasing and increasing. Not only was that increasing, but also my stress was also increasing. And because of the complexity, naturally, that was evolving because I wasn't actually targeted down to a specific niche. So this all shifted when I realized the value of being a specialist over a generalist. So I realized that I would get better clients, I could build better systems, I had a better fulfillment system, right? Better customer service, it was much easier to scale, all without the massive headaches and the feeling of complexity that you get when you're saying yes to every single person, right? You see, initially you feel great being the yes man when you're first starting out, but soon you'll realize that by saying yes to everyone, you're taking 2 steps back every time that you take on a new client, because you're sitting there having to reinvent the wheel, having no processes to follow that's repeatable, and so you're going to be spending a lot of time just thinking about what you need to do. Now on to the next one, which is the lead generation strategy, having one lead generation strategy. Now, while there are many ways to get clients, the fastest way to succeed is having one very good lead generation strategy that you do on a consistent basis. Now, this can be, cold email, cold calls, this could be LinkedIn, this can be Instagram DMs and Instagram posting, this can be, Facebook DMs, this could be Facebook ads, whatever you choose. This can be, one-to-many events where you're standing on stage and you're, projecting out to hundreds of people. It really doesn't matter what that strategy is, pick one, right? Naturally, we get overwhelmed because we're thinking we need to do 10 different things at a time. The fact is that we need to start with one brick at a time, laying one brick at a time, and getting really good at that until you now have a successful, predictable strategy in place before you even consider thinking on to getting and adding another strategy. Now, having one conversion mechanism is the next rule, which means that there are a lot of ways that you can sell clients, such as like webinars or live events or even one-to-one selling. You just want to become great at one and focus on that. In my case, my personal preference is having, the one-on-one conversations where someone, either gets pre-qualified via a setter and then goes ahead and speaks to me because I'm the closer, or, even if it's me meeting the individual, initially and pre-qualifying them myself and then going ahead and closing the deal, once again, it's still one-on-one selling. I'm going to make sure, or my team's going to make sure that they're pre-qualified prior to actually selling them something, because we're not going to sell something to someone that we can't help, right? That doesn't have a pain that we can solve, or that we deem is just not a good fit at that moment in time due to whatever it is, financials, just knowledge, or whatever it is, right? Now, having one program is the next one, which means you should only offer one core program to your clients that can deliver the results that they are looking for. It should not be a la carte. For example, you have an entire menu of different services. You got social media, you got a website price, you got a hosting price, you got content price, you got this and you got that, right? Having this huge menu is going to be overwhelming and it's not going to be very profitable. You can have variations of your program for certain specific needs, but you should not be building a custom solution for every single client that you get. So you can, let's say you do SEO, right? You want to have an all-encompassing program that covers basically everything that they need for SEO to be successful. And when it comes to the plan variations, what you might have is a plan where, with one plan you get, 2 pieces of content versus the next plan you get 4 pieces of content per month. But in all plans, you get the exact same deliverable, which is the on, off page, etc., 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 right? And so this is what I mean. And another variation of this can be, terms of length, right? So it's the same encompassing program. It's the same intellectual property program, but you're basically, making variations of it based on time. So is it a 3 or 6? Is it a 12-month program, right? And with that, they might get an incentive on price for getting, the longer term. Now, the next one is 1 year, right? So you need to allow enough time to provide good service in each element before you consider adding anything else. Now, this is a difficult one to really grasp because you're going to have the urge of following a shiny object, or that this guy is making all this money or this guy is doing that. When in all reality, if you just focus on the thing that you're doing, you're going to make more money than focusing on 10 different things and following the shiny object. So, you want to make a commitment to yourself that whatever you choose, you're going to stick to it for at least a year in order for you to, really get good at it, really, tweak and plug all the leaks, optimize, get that feedback going and improve on that, and etc., right? Before you even think about adding an additional supplemental service to your offer. Now, let's recap the rule of 5 ones. Remember, having one target market, one niche versus many, versus being in a broad niche. Let's say, like sports, instead of saying I do and help people, that run sports teams, you could say I help, soccer teams, generate more soccer players, or whatever it is, right? Being niched down within the niche, right? So a niche within the niche, right? Now, lead generation, having one lead generation strategy, whether it's cold email, cold calls, LinkedIn, Facebook, whatever it is, pick one and do that one until you get good at it, right? The next one is one conversion mechanism, right? Don't have, a webinar over here, people doing one-on-one calls over here, this different strategy over there. That isn't going to be scalable, and it's going to be very hard to monitor and track and improve. So having one conversion mechanism that's very successful is what you're going to want to focus on. Having one program, creating an IP and intellectual property, right, where it makes you sophisticated, it makes someone buy from you versus everybody else. What makes them buy from you? It's your program that is a complete solution that you've created that they can't get anywhere else. And for 1 year, sell that thing to that same niche with that same conversion mechanism, with that same program, right? So then you can then build systems of you even selling it, right? Or your team selling it, and then that becomes a reference to whoever you want to bring on your team to do sales for you, to do prospecting for you, or whatever. Now that becomes a reference, right, that they can, observe and learn from, so that when they go in and sell your program, right, because you're going to eventually build a team that's going to be an extension of yourself. Once you can do that, they're going to be referencing what you did to get to this point, so that if they ever run into an obstacle, bam, they have, someone to reference that success so that they can achieve that obstacle and smash their goal. So if you found this valuable, I don't want to make this video for too long. I'm going to be making a different video, diving deeper into each one of these 5 ones, breaking them down a little bit more. If you'd want me to do that, comment down below, and I'll go ahead and start preparing that. If you found this video valuable, it would really be helpful if you subscribed and liked our channel, so we can help more entrepreneurs, right, build and grow their businesses with information like this that's going to really change the way and their perspective on how they do things, so they spend less time working hard and learning from those that have experienced different things, so that they can apply those things to their business. Like and subscribe to our channel. Comment down below your biggest takeaway of this video, and I'll see you guys on the next one.